Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Big Bang. Thank you all for being here. My name is Alfreda Norman, and I am Senior Vice President over Communications and Public Outreach Programs at the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas. I am excited to be here today as MC and representing the Dallas Fed as a co-producer of this important event with Social Venture Partners Dallas, United Way of Metropolitan Dallas, Texas Women's Foundation, and the City of Dallas. For those of you who may not know, Big Bang is Dallas's annual social innovation conference. Though we aren't able to meet in person, we still have the opportunity to gather virtually and connect with other community builders, servant leaders, innovators, creators, and change makers. Equity in action is the theme of this year's Big Bang. In 2020, against the backdrop of a global pandemic, we've seen a public awakening to racial, economic, and social inequities. COVID-19 is a public health crisis that has exacerbated the disparities in income, wealth, health, education, community infrastructure, and the criminal justice system. Our goal over the next few days is to inspire hope, spur action, and renew our commitment to the arduous struggle toward equity for all. We know that building and restructuring inclusive systems to provide opportunity for all will expand prosperity for everyone and contribute to the overall health of our economy and world. We have an impressive program plan for you around the themes of racial, gender, and economic equity. In our programming this week, you'll hear from local, statewide, and national leaders. This morning, we'll start the conversation with Michael Sorrell, president of Paul Quinn College, and we'll have a special presentation from Mike Morath, the Texas Commissioner of Education. You'll get the chance to hear a panel featuring the superintendents of Houston, Dallas, Austin, and San Antonio independent school districts. Later this afternoon, I'm telling you, you do not want to miss the impressive panel we have on equity in sports, featuring former NFL linebacker Samuel Acho. In addition, we have some really interesting breakout sessions focusing on equity in the arts, breaking barriers to voter participation, and racial equity in sports with triathletes. I'm really excited about our special segments. A porch-side conversation with Alicia Watson of Redeemed Women in the Bonton neighborhood of South Dallas. Performances by spoken word artists from across the state, and the South Oak Cliff Marching Band. I want to extend a special thank you to the Dallas Foundation, who is our powering sponsor this week. And thanks to other great partners for your support. Dodie Frost Crockett, the Kleiner Foundation, If Then, the Texas Tribune, KERA, Bank of America, Celanese, and Mary Kay. Additionally, our gratitude to Amy Miller of KXT for curating a Songs for Change playlist for Big Bang. As we learn and connect through the week, we hope you'll join the conversation on social media. You can share any aha moments or lessons learned using the hashtag BigBangTexas. Also, please make note of the networking features on the Brella platform. Feel free to reach out and meet others. Additionally, we encourage you to share your thoughts on each session in the chat box. Before we get going on our agenda, I'm going to turn it over to Tony Flail. Tony is CEO of Social Venture Partners Dallas and the visionary leader behind Big Bang. He and our event chair, Giles Davidson, will share a little more with you before we jump into the program. Take it away, Tony.
Thank you, Alfreda, and thank you to the Dallas Fed for all of the support and help that you have given to bringing this event together. These types of events do not happen easily. They take an enormous amount of effort from co-leaders and co-producers. And none of us anticipated that we would be doing this presentation for a week long, and that we would not be in person, where we could hug one another and drink with one another and eat with one another and share great conversations. But here we are. And in the midst of here we are, we have some very powerful moments and powerful alliances that have joined forces to bring something very impactful to the city. While the conference is very important, what happens as the result of the conference throughout the whole year is even more significant. And it is because of great partners like the United Way of Metropolitan Dallas, who have been supporting and co-producing this event for over 7 years now with Social Venture Partners. The extraordinary impact that the United Way of Metropolitan Dallas has on our community is just not measurable because it is just so extraordinary. Jennifer Sampson, who is the CEO there, and Susan Hoff, who is the Chief Strategy Officer, and with me today, have been instrumental in leading such great social impact programs here in Dallas. I'm going to turn it over to Susan in just a moment, but I do want to welcome Giles Davidson, who is an SVP partner and co-chair of this event. I like to think of Giles as the permanent co-chair. We do a lot at Social Venture Partners with strength finders, and Giles's strengths, his ability to make connections, his ability to arrange them in perfect ways, has made the Big Bang Conference over a number of years just extraordinary. I would be completely remiss if I did not thank Emily Hargrove, who has been behind the scenes managing and producing the conference. Just extraordinary effort, and an extraordinary effort on my team at Social Venture Partners. So I thank you, and I thank all of the support teams from the Fed, from the City of Dallas, from the Texas Women's Foundation, the United Way, of course, and obviously being powered by the Dallas Foundation makes this event extraordinary. Susan, thank you so much for being with us yet another year, for your support. Without you, without the presence of the United Way, a conference like this just would not be possible. So thank you.
Thank you, Tony, and good morning, everyone. So happy Big Bang Monday. And as you said, Tony, a whole week long of amazing adventures and learning and change making. So what a phenomenal week and phenomenal morning to begin this. I also want to say part of this week is a lineup of the United Way's annual pitch, where 5 amazing new startup organizations will pitch in a competition for over $235,000. And so we hope that many of you will be able to join us for this event on Wednesday evening, this virtual event. These are transformational change makers. And speaking of transformational change, that which drives the creation of a North Texas where everyone, regardless of race or zip code, has the access and the opportunity to achieve their full potential is the core focus of United Way of Metropolitan Dallas. And I know it is the vision shared by many on this call and throughout this week. But the big question is, how do we make this vision a reality? Social Venture Partners Dallas put innovation on the map and action on the agenda for North Texas. And Big Bang has been the premier showcase for that work for years. Applying the principles of innovation to drive equity affords an opportunity to shine a bright light on systemic barriers, and it brings together some of the best and brightest change makers. And that results in the Big Bang, the combustion that comes about when you combine great thinkers, doers, envelope pushers, questioners, hand raisers, and visionaries. This is the place where vision begins to become reality. Thank you so much for including United Way in this work, and welcome again to everyone. I know it's going to be a wonderful week, and I'll turn it over to my good friend and colleagues, Giles Davidson.
I think I know how to do this by now. I just wanted to take just a few minutes to let folks know that probably, I guess I'm in my 6th or 7th year of chairing Big Bang. And clearly, I say that I guess when you're handed lemons, you try to make lemonade. And so this is a very different look. And in many ways, there's some big positives, I think, that have come out of this. One of those is that we were able to partner this year with the Texas Tribune. We were going to be actually at TribFest, and obviously that couldn't happen either, but we saw how the Tribune expanded their programming, being able to do everything virtually, and so we decided to copy that a bit and add significantly more content this week that I hope people will enjoy. It'll give you a chance to hear from speakers, as Susan said, locally as well as nationally, and bring additional perspectives that will help us in North Texas as we continue to kind of fight against this thing called inequity. My buddy Tony Fleo has said many, many times that bad systems defeat good people every time. And one of the things that I think we need to be focused on are what systems are in place, both intentionally put in place and unconsciously put in place. I think people put a lot of, people come and do policy thinking that they're going to have an outcome that's, from a very good place in their heart. And then you have unintended consequences. And regardless of those outcomes, whether it was an intentional, like a redlining that did not do any of our fellow community members of color any good, but others that were not so intentional and really so negative. But we still need to look at these. And one of the things that I hope is accomplished this week, and one of the things that we talked to our speakers about, is to really think about, as you're talking about the topic that's near and dear to your heart, make sure you leave the audience with something that is very tangible that the audience can take away from this and actually take action on. We're not going to make these changes. They're hard. They're going to require lots of conversation. And I think we're in a mode now where people are seeing this inequity and people are wanting to do something about it. We see it nationally. And I think it's a great opportunity for us to very sincerely analyze what these systems are and how we can actually get everyone contributing to our community. And when you have inclusion, it's just a better place to live. And one thing I would like to actually thank here, Tony did do a shout out to the staff, but given the change in format and how much we had to go through this year so differently than we have done it in the past, we kind of threw out some of our cookbooks and had to start fresh. I just really want to thank again the staff, not only for the obvious work. Anybody who knows the staff at SVP knows that they're incredible people, but one of the things that they did for me, and this is a selfish, but it's true, they made me a better person during this process. They kept me in the game. We had robust discussions about these issues, and we all just deeply care about gender equity and racial equity and economic equity. And this was maybe one of the more, I think, meaningful big bangs that I've had the opportunity to chair. So I hope that everybody gets something out of this. They walk away with some actions that they want to take, and we are going to make some of these changes that are going to make all of us a much better community. And with that, I will turn this back over to the esteemed Alfreda Norman. And again, Alfreda, thank you so much for agreeing to MC today. We appreciate it.
It is my distinct pleasure. And I have to tell you, thank you so much, Tony, Giles, and Susan. Your leadership has been amazing for our community. And I think you're right, Giles. Get ready, everybody. It's time to have courageous conversations. That's what's going to make us the city we want to be, the communities we want to live in, and the place that we want to leave for our children. So what do you say we get started? I'm going to introduce our very first speaker, Michael Sorrell, who is the president of Paul Quinn College here in Dallas. And I might add, Michael is the longest serving president in the school's 148-year history. During his 13 years of leadership, Paul Quinn has become a national movement for its efforts to make higher education become more responsive to student and societal needs. Before the pandemic, and as many of you know, Paul Quinn College was the site of day one for bigBANG, programming for the last several years. And we're sad that we can't be together in South Dallas today, but we're thrilled to have Michael here with us. Michael will be joined by Destiny Modesta as moderator. Destiny is a graduate of Paul Quinn College and valedictorian of her graduating class. She currently works at the marketing arm as a digital strategist. Take it away, Destiny.